NCSA for mental illness and those who are suffering in silence. So thank you so much for that, and you look very beautiful. But let us jump right into it. Congregation, today the theme that we are going to be exploring is Christ among us, hosting the divine, living the mystery. God visits the ordinary. He fulfills impossible promises, and he reveals his glory through Christ. In the book of Genesis, congregation, according to theologians, the author is traditionally Moses, and he is believed to be the author of Genesis with 4 other books of the Torah, which is Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, commonly known as the Pentateuch. And the Pentateuch was written between 15th and 13th century BCE during the Israel's wilderness journey. So drawing from the ancient oral traditions, it is finally formed and likely to have emerged between the 6th and the 5th century BCE during the Babylonian exile. This was written in a world shaped by polytheism and Babylonian Empire, and Genesis boldly proclaims one sovereign God, one creator, who brings order from chaos and establishes a covenant with humanity. And then in our second scripture reading, the Epistle to the Colossians, we see that Paul is the author of this book during his imprisonment in Rome around 60 to 62 AD. And the letter to the Colossians was written to a small, vibrant church of Colossia, located in Minor Asia, which today we know as Turkey. At the time, early Christian communities were being influenced by false teachings, confusion, and a different doctrine at the time, including idealism as well as Jewish legalism. And Paul boldly wrestles with and reasserts the supremacy and sufficiency of Christ during a time where the world was wrestling and competing with different ideologies. Paul pens this epistle as a theological order, declaring Christ as a visible image of an invisible God, as the head of all creation and of the church. However, traditionally, Apostle Paul is considered the author of the Colossians. It was likely during his imprisonment. Scholars also mentioned that Paul wrote his epistle at a time when the early church and Christian doctrine was still developing within the church. Paul is writing to strengthen a young church that is pulled in different theological directions. He uses poetic and spiritual language to elevate Christ above all philosophies and traditions. The mystery he refers to is that the Gentiles are